A foolish man complains about a hole in his torn pocket, while a wise man uses it to scratch his balls. Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Now, it's no secret I don't like Gears games.
What are the similarities, man? I hope this chair can hold me.
One thing I remember seeing after I made that video was the comments. A lot of people were telling me about Gears Tactics, and I didn't think much of it at the time. But up until recently, I saw that Gears Tactics was $10, so I decided to give it a try, and I was surprisingly impressed with the detail and quality of the game, because normally strategy games almost never have a story, and if they do, it's usually not that good or barely there. But in Gears Tactics, it's
just full of the exaggerated swagger of
okay, well, it's not perfect.
May I help you?
We'll be asking the questions, old man. Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
I have told you.
Are you deaf?
No, you is blind.
I'm not blind, you blind.
That is what I just said.
You just said what?
I did not say what. I said you.
That's what I'm asking you.
And you is answering.
Shut up!
This game can pretty much be summed up as XCOM with a Gears of War paint job. But there are a few key differences in this game that XCOM never had, so it's not like it was a blatant ripoff, but it was more of a fresh take on a unique gameplay mechanic. Like, some of the greatest features I noticed playing this game were things like actual boss fights that got more and more difficult as you progress in the game. Like, 1 second you're doing pretty good, then bam, a bunch of tickers spawn in, or tickas, I don't know if you can say that anymore. But the boss fights in this game have unique strengths and weaknesses, kind of like XCOM's War of the Chosen, but on a much larger scale.
Just like we planned it.
Another really cool part of this game was getting to see your own customized characters and armor in cutscenes. And it looks legit, like, other than a little bit of stuttering, everything looks so seamless. It's really cool. I guess while I'm on the topic of customization though, I should probably mention that there isn't as much variety in what you can do compared to XCOM, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't a lot of cool cosmetics and armor that you can mix and match. It's just not as much. I actually really like that they go back to the original Locust and take a different approach to usual Gears of War gameplay, even if it's a ripoff of XCOM. It still has a lot of improvements. Like, it runs really smooth. I think out of my entire playthrough, the game only crashed once, which is amazing compared to XCOM if you've ever played those games. And another great thing this game did was give actual reason for there being a time limit. Like, there's this mission type that technically doesn't have a time limit, but it punishes you if you fall too far behind by hitting you with missiles as you fight enemies and try and salvage supplies. It can all be really fun and give you a good challenge, but I guess I should mention that there really isn't more than 4 mission types. There's the rescue missions, defense supplies missions, the ones I just talked about, and main story missions that usually have some objective to get to. So it's not like there's tons of content, but you don't even really notice it till you get to the final act of the game, where it gets a little bit repetitive.
Chapter 23. Terry's mind wandered to the hut. Because he was so sad, Erica thoughtfully gave Terry a began to ejaculate Tabasco. Terry fell on the floor, vomiting in mass jungle. I mean, hairy bush vagina.
The story is pretty ass, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's a couple random plot things that don't really make sense, like the betrayal of the general, or just some random character coming in with not really any backstory at the end of the game. But for some reason, even though the story's mid, I actually surprisingly really like the characters. Watching the cutscenes in this game seriously makes me want there to be a Gears of War TV show, like, just like this game.
And let me guess, you're coming too.
Well, if you insist.
I really liked how they fit with the world of Gears of War without feeling forced in and sprinkled with member berries like their characters from Gears 5.
Remember Marcus Phoenix? Oh, remember Dom? Remember Mira?
The story in Gears Tactics is, in my opinion, really good for a strategy game and is pretty solid for a Gears game. So I just hope that if they do make a show or a game, that they do exactly what Gears Tactics did and introduce new characters and stories instead of just milking off of the old ones.
Boomer!
This might be the only good Gears game after Gears of War 3, and I think a lot of people should go check it out if they haven't already. And if you're like me and you just never got around to playing this, now would be a great time since the price is so low. And it's not a bad game. Like, sure, it feels like it's missing a little bit of content by either not having multiplayer or any DLCs, but for $10, dude, it's definitely worth a try. And if you're new to strategy games, or maybe even Gears of War in general, and you've just been watching me this entire time wondering what the hell I've been talking about, this would be a great way for you to dip your toe in the water and see how you like the franchise, or maybe even the whole strategy genre as a whole. So with that, this game gets a 8 out of 10 with a bad hex seal of reprovador. Bam! A bunch of tickers spawn in, or tickas. I don't know if you can say that. I can't use that one. That's just racist.